main obstacle you see to spiritual growth in people?
I think the biggest problem is ego. I look at ego as edging God out or eliminating God out. So when you take the divine out, it could be your religion or God or divine, whatever you look upon as higher self. When you feel that it doesn't exist, you are really focusing all the attention on yourself, and you feel that I'm the one who's managing it all. And that's when ego starts to build more. And even if you don't edge the God out, and if you still are part of it, and if you're so-called spiritual ego is the worst ego. Because then you're spiritual and you feel that I know it all. And I felt it's easy to break ego of a normal man, but it's literally impossible to break ego of a spiritual man. I've been to a lot of spiritual festivals, spiritual groups, and I come across big names. I go to seek their blessings, and among the crowd, are a lot of people who are loaded with ego, and that ego is spiritual ego. That I meditate for so many hours. I'm a yogi. I'm a vegan for last 10 years. These little points have built on such an ego that it's the biggest. This is more scary than a normal ego, because they are the people who are the agents of change. They're looked upon as agents of change. So if they're suffering from ego, it's a big problem. And yes, if you ask me what's the main obstacle for non-spiritual people also, it's the ego. If you are not in trap of ego, then you become a student, then you learn, then you know I don't know it all. You take on methods of growth, and it works out nicely. And how meditation can help in getting rid of ego, it just brings you one-on-one with who you are, and you understand that I'm not the one who's channeling the whole universe, and I'm not the center of universe. The universe still functions with or without me. So you are at ease. You become an easygoing person.
How it must be a problem among gurus that they develop, or they can develop, a spiritual ego. I suppose we see in history, we only really hear about the big gurus, the Buddha and big gurus that have survived. Their teaching techniques have survived many years. But I'm sure there are many gurus that have succumbed to that spiritual ego that you speak about. And as you say, that's probably the hardest, because there's a huge sense of entitlement.
Huge.
How important is it to have a guru, and do they have to be from India? How do you choose one?
Guru is very important. Guru is G-U-R-U. So when you are you become your own guru. But who gives you that bridge? Who gives you that knowledge? A guru gives you that. And they don't have to be from India. People do think gurus are always from India. And Indians love that, I think.
Right.
We have Zen masters. Lao Tzu, he's regarded as one of the most amazing gurus. So there are a lot of gurus. Jesus, I looked upon him as one of the most transformation agent, guru, God, whatever you want to call him. But I look upon him as some sort of a great teacher. Lao Tzu, Jesus, and there are many other ancient teachers who are not Indian. Dalai Lama, he's not Indian.
Yes.
He lives in India, but he's Tibetan. So there are a lot of people who are not Indian, and they are still gurus, and they are changing the world. And guru's presence is very important. Otherwise, you don't know what you are doing. It's like going to a gym. You can run on treadmill, you can lift weights, but if you don't have a trainer to guide you, you can be doing whatever you think is right. And that it builds your ego also.
Right.
On spiritual path, it becomes hugely important to have someone guiding you, puncturing your ego, and still be your best friend.
Right.
So my father has been that bridge in my life. He punctures my ego. He still does. He did, still doing it, and yet he's my best friend. And I think that's what a guru really does. A real guru doesn't make you depend on him. He gives you your freedom. He lets you make mistakes. So if you think having a guru will bring some miracles or it will give you some overnight enlightenment, that's not going to happen. A real guru will make you work. If you're ready for the work, then he will appear. And it can be a female also. It's just that male leaders have been more out. But there are female gurus also.
Right.
An interesting thing is...
Good to know.
An interesting thing is, a female is born to be more receptive. She's always more compassionate. Right. She's motherly. So when a female becomes enlightened, she becomes more receptive of the divine love. Right. She doesn't feel like going out and talking about it. But male has always been that kind of personality. They want to go out and talk about it. And you'll see the female gurus who are out, they are more masculine or they are more leader. But there are a lot of female gurus who are not out. They're very much motherly about it. And the male gurus who are not out, they are also very feminine and very motherly about it.
Interesting. Yeah.